Hey guys, welcome back to Overtakes. This is Misfit.
And I'm Kel.
And we're going to give you our Stage 3 Week 2 review. But first,
we have some breaking news. I'm Ken Brockman, and live here in Dallas, we have breaking news about the Dallas Fuel. They have now fired their coach, Kai, and released Rascal. Because, fucking idiots.
Yep. And back at the desk here, I hear that the other players are unhappy as well.
Yeah.
Oh, Effect might have the matches that are setting the Fuel on fire right now. Anyway, I like Effect.
Oh,
in all seriousness.
The more that all of this drama is going on, the more I really like Effect.
I just keep cheering him on. I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, keep going.
Right.
Tell him what you really think.
Effect 316.
Yes. And, these moves the first move needed to be made with Dallas.
Yes.
Kai was not the right guy.
No.
But that was not meant to sound like that either. But what it is we talked about this earlier, and mimicking their football brethren in Dallas.
Yeah.
The ownership there is like Jerry Jones, and he's pretty much Jason Garrett. He's given a bag of people that he's supposed to work with that are great players, but, ownership wants this guy in, doesn't want that guy, wants, it had to have been a hard job.
It's players that don't mesh.
Yeah.
Then you've got where he doesn't really have full control over his own roster of players because he doesn't, any decisions he makes gets completely overwritten by the owner. And it's just such a mess. And it's like, this is why ownership should not have anything to do with coaching.
Yes.
Or even personnel decisions. Like, you own the team, you pay people to do that shit for you. Unless you were a GM before, that's the only way that that's ever going to work. And even then, it still gets messy.
Yeah, and, Boston. Robert Kraft owns the team. He's not meddling. It's called a player personnel director.
Yeah.
That dude gets the talent, especially in in this league, you don't have like football or baseball or basketball where you have these scouts all over the world.
Yeah, you've got a
couple of guys that got their eyes on stuff.
Right, at the most they're gonna have basically a GM who's gonna be the head of the scouting and the personnel decisions, and then you have a coach, and then you have your coaching staff.
Yeah.
and the coach and the coaching staff work with the players that the GM brought in, and that's it. That's the way it should work. It should not be the owner kind of makes decisions at all of these levels.
And you can tell some of them when they're being made, too.
Oh, yeah.
When certain people are in there, you're just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And, it's a continual mess, and fuck
it really
me,
is.
It's just you just laugh every time you hear something. And that's why we're making fun of it. And at this point, it's, what the fuck? It should be called the Dallas what the fuck.
And it's like them cutting firing Kai, totally understandable. Up to this point, it's just been a mess.
We haven't gotten to the second half of this.
But then you make the completely baffling move of cutting Rascal? Why?
I know. And they said it's communication. And you also said when you got him, communication's going to be an issue because he doesn't really speak English. Okay. So you gave him what? 5 weeks?
Right.
Sure. That's going to work.
And you wonder why he doesn't want to communicate with you because you probably haven't really given him enough time to learn another language.
Would you give him Duolingo or something?
Right.
Here, learn English, motherfucker.
Here's this app. We're not going to give you a paid version or anything or hire a tutor or any of that.
Rosetta Stone's too much money. I'm not paying $200 to teach you English.
Just use this free app that we got.
Just download it on your phone. It'll be fine.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Effect will help you out.
Yeah. He doesn't have his own issues going on.
Yeah.
Jesus. It's just such a mess. And it's you traded for this guy knowing this, and then you don't give him the time to do that. You don't even play him on his best characters. It's such a mess. It's hey, we would rather have fucking AKM, who never plays Genji, play Genji.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna bench Rascal, who's probably one of the best Genji players in the league.
Yeah, and It's
and then
just,
you're gonna cut him. Like, it just,
yeah, it's not working.
do not understand at all.
Yeah.
What a freaking mess.
It's just a giant mess. All the fucking time, it's a giant mess.
Yeah. It's just
And,
week in, week out. It's a clusterfuck.
Yeah, and like Taimu's all upset because, he's playing and he's not playing well. Well, he's not playing well, and I don't, and I like Taimu a lot.
I do too.
And he's a good guy, and he's kind of like me, and that's why I like guys like Effect and him, because they're not afraid to say what they mean. I mean, granted, they're all on social media fucking going nuts, which is, they wonder why everybody like us is like, as soon as they open their mouths, we're like
right.
all over it. He's like, I don't know, my skills are off, and this and that. His skills are off because you had him for a month playing fucking Winston.
Yeah.
And
and so he's behind what everybody else is doing but then at the same time,
he's cold as fuck when he goes into a game.
He's cold, and then you've got guys who, frankly, are there to be better than he is at the things that he's best at. Like, you have AKM, who pretty much plays all the same freaking characters that Taimu does, and it's like, who are you going to play? Like, why would you even bring AKM in the first place if you have Taimu? Especially with how good Taimu was. Like, when he was at his best, that dude was probably one of the best head scans in the world.
Yeah, and he's still better than AKM at Widow. I don't care what anyone says.
I agree.
And you got Effect, who he's a fantastic tracer, and he's a good hit scan. See, now the whole thing is they have no projectile guy, really.
Right.
I mean, Effect can play Pharah, kind of. I mean, he's okay.
Isn't that what they brought in Rascal for?
That's what I thought.
You freaking drop him? Like, it just makes no sense. And then you have Seagull, who's got...
He's gone again.
Who the fuck knows what they're doing with him, because he didn't even play a game this week.
No.
Like, you train him on... or you force him to play Diva, then you take him off because you put your other mediocre to terrible to maybe could be good...
Diva
player back in, so then you can put your booster on main tank.
It's just like, it's beyond, at this point, it's just laughable.
It really is.
I'm surprised they're even where they're at right now in the standings.
They are the New York Knicks.
Oh, God.
Of the Overwatch League right now.
And Effect is early 2000s Latrell Sprewell.
Yeah, like not even recent Knicks where they're just bad because they have like no talent and like two really good players, but like they're really young. So at least they're trending upwards. Like, this is like tail end of Stephon Marbury.
Oh, that team. Stephon Marbury.
Or like right when they traded for Carmelo.
Yeah.
Era Knicks.
C-Mello era.
Jesus. What a... Just... It's such a mess.
When they still had J.R. Smith untying people's shoes and shit. That's Effect.
Yeah.
J.R. Smith.
Oh, yeah. Oh my god. It's so perfect.
Trade him to my team. Actually, we don't need him right now. We kind of do, but never mind.
No, you guys don't need a tracer. You got a tracer.
Trade him to Houston.
As long as Logix comes back.
Yeah, trade him to Houston.
Yeah, no
All right,
kidding.
so let's talk real things in the league right now.
Okay, so we want to jump in. We're going to do it a little bit different this week. We want to talk about where the teams are in the stage playoffs, because it's completely different than any of us expected. And then also just in general, this is the first time that we've gotten this far into a stage and there's only one predominantly Korean team in the top 4.
Yeah.
And that is New York.
Yep. And this is the first week that all of them lost in the same week.
Yep.
And, New York is the only one that's really looking good right now.
Yeah.
Consistently good. They got beat by Boston, who did,
I think Boston's... they just weren't expecting Boston to play as well as they did.
Yeah, because
I think they just went into it underestimating what Boston was going to do.
Yeah, and and we'll talk about London for a minute while we're on this with at the front half of the week. They did the whole split squad thing, and then Florida came out and started kicking their ass, and they brought everybody else back in.
Right.
They're like, oh crap, we can't lose maps, and they're losing games now. They're 1-3.
Yeah.
And Seoul's not far behind the 1-3.
Yeah, they're 2-2, but they have a 0 on their maps because they're 9-9 on their map win-loss. And it's like, I'm surprised they're even that. Honestly, the way
they played is terrible.
They should be negative maps.
Yeah, and their wins were against nobody spectacular at all. Right.
And I think it's their wins that kind of up to where they are, because when they're losing, they're they're getting stomped.
Yeah, and the best team in the league right now as we speak is the Los Angeles Valiant.
Oh, hands down. I mean, they have been absolutely unbeatable right now.
Yeah, and it's not like they're beating terrible teams, guys.
No.
They're beating good teams.
They're beating really good teams.
And really badly.
And they're curb stomping these really good teams. They have one map loss and one map tie.
Yeah, and since Space has been there, they haven't missed a beat. In fact, as good as Envy was,
Space is
that much better. And it just watch this guy play Diva.
And I really wonder, like, how much has it really helped them to get a guy? It's been really underrated, and not a lot of people are talking about it, but I think probably the savviest move that they made was picking up Custa.
Yeah.
Getting that shot caller and that guy that's always positive, that positive influence being in there for them has just been absolutely huge.
Yeah, picking up Bunny was a good move too.
Yeah, Bunny's been a huge pickup. Because
they were having trouble. Kareev was decent on Widowmaker, but it's kind of like with the Fusion. So Snillo comes in, and Carpe can just go off on Widow, and and they're doing that with Soon, who I thought was one of the better Widows at the start of the league. Yeah,
and now it's opening it up so Soon can play the other characters, so he's not always playing Tracer, because he's a really good Tracer.
Yeah,
but Bunny's a better Tracer.
At the moment, yeah.
Yeah, at the moment, he's a better Tracer, so that opens it up for Soon to play his other heroes, because that's one thing that Soon is not just a Tracer specialist like some of these other guys. He's got a pretty wide range of characters that he plays really well, and now he gets to play Widow.
And he's really good on McCree. His Widow's sick.
Yeah, all of his hit scan is just spot on. And
much like Philadelphia does, when you need your projectile guy, you bring in agilities. Yep. And so they're bringing in EQO. And it's working out stupid good.
Yeah.
They're just pounding people like into the ground. I'm glad my team got them last stage when they were a mess. Yeah. Them and Boston, they impressed me this week. I was kind of down on them for a bit, and then I was like, man, they're done.
Right. Going into it, we didn't really know, because they were really underwhelming in stage 2 up until the last week or so, and then they really caught fire, and then the whole Dreamcasper situation, we're just they're just gonna fall apart again and just be really underwhelming. But it seems like that whole situation just completely galvanized the team to just be like, okay, we're stepping up, and Mistakes stepped in there and just didn't miss a beat. And that team is just looking scary. Yeah,
and next to the Excelsior, they have the best coaching staff in the league.
Yeah. Other than, the Excelsior have a really good coaching staff. And then one team that, hasn't really performed that well this stage, but one thing that they've done really well consistently is Houston.
Yeah.
Who plays really well as a team, and it looks like Boston is doing the same thing, but they're doing it with more talent on their roster.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when you can play that way as a team, and then you can go, and then you have talent like Striker and the way that Mistakes was playing, and then you get the supports and even their tanks have played really well.
Have been playing really well too. And like I said in our duos thing, their supports have been playing at an above bar level. And then they just went off this week against Florida and New York. I mean, I did not expect them to beat New York. I thought they'd get a map if they were lucky.
Right.
And New York got nervous in that match, and it was actually fun to see them kind of squirm a little bit. But the one thing that they don't have right now is the projectile guy. But you know what? They got Mistakes in there, and his Genji is actually better than I thought it was going to be. It's kind of everyone sees him as a Sombra guy, because that's what they had him coming in. He really didn't know what his hero pool was. Then if you go back and you watch some of his other his stream and stuff like that, he's a damn good DPS player.
Yeah, just in general.
And there's a reason why they're up there at number 2 in the stage. And then let's get into
one other team that we really didn't talk about that's in that top 4
and the new stage playoffs, guys.
in the new stage playoffs because they're kind of far down there because they had such a poor first stage, and that's the Gladiators. They have just been playing right at the same level that they were in the last stage, and even better, honestly, right now. Like, they are just playing really, really well, and they're beating really good teams. And that's the really big thing for the Gladiators is how good the teams that they're beating are.
Yeah, and they're beating teams like Seoul, who, in my opinion, Seoul is a mediocre team, folks.
Yeah.
Their days of Lunatic High being the Apex gods is gone.
Yeah.
So stop with them. Don't buy into the bullshit because they haven't beat a top team.
Right.
They beat Florida, they beat Shanghai, they beat Dallas, they beat San Francisco sometimes. But what I'm saying is they're not on par with these teams anymore. They're not on par with London, New York, the Valiant, Boston, the Gladiators, or Philadelphia. They're middle to bottom.
Yeah, and it's disappointing to see how poorly they've played.
And I think that they've gotten figured out.
Yeah.
And some of their guys aren't as good as they were in years past, or in other leagues or whatever. Because sometimes all right, you're doing well in Apex, right? But you're not playing against these other teams, these other guys that were in Europe and North America. Granted, the Apex thing was top of the top, but you're still not playing against guys like Fraggy. You're not playing against Space, Super, any of those guys. They're all here or in Europe. Right. Now, your guys are older. It seems like they're a little slower. The reflexes are not as good. I mean, Jae-Hong's good, but he can only carry so far as a support, man.
Right. And I think one of the big things is Fleta has just not been the same player that he was.
No.
In stage 1, he looked like the best player in the league, and just ever since then...
He's had flashes, but not...
He's just been kind of there. Like, not anything spectacular. I mean, he hasn't been terrible, but he's just not been that I'm going to take over no matter what character I'm playing type of player that he was, and that we know he's capable of being, but he's just not that right now.
And I think teams are focusing on him too, because they watch film. Yeah. Watch them, guys. I know everyone wants Seoul to be good. Watch them. They're mediocre. But what their teams are doing now is Flood is the best player on the team. Focus him down. And
it just shuts everything else down. And
they can handle everybody else.
Yeah.
Because in the first stage, how many hard carry maps did he just win?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when he was on Horizon Lunar Colony, he won that, like, the three or four times they played it, he won at least 3 of them on his own.
Yeah, where it was like he and like one other person were alive, and they basically 2v6'd.
Yeah.
To the point where it would drive the other team back, where they'd get a couple of picks, and and he's just not able to perform at that level because teams have realized that, and they're focusing him hard.
Yeah. But back to the Gladiators. They're the one thing that everyone seems to be worried about with them, except for me and you on this, is their DPS. I like the rotation that they got.
No, I think they have I think they're one of the few teams that can make that DPS rotation work. Yeah, and because each one of those each one of those guys is perfect for any situation. Like they have the perfect guy for any situation that they can get thrown into as far as maps and characters that they'll need played.
Yeah, and they as a team they have great communication.
Yes.
So there's no Dallas Fuel situation going on where when you put one guy in and he doesn't understand anybody, or even like with Florida, their communication's off right now.
Well, one thing about
stuff like that.
One thing with the Gladiators is they're another team that has just been really, really extremely well coached.
Yeah.
I think,
and I can't say we haven't said that enough actually about them.
We really haven't. Their coaching staff has just been, even from the beginning, from the first stage, even when they weren't playing as well as they were, you could tell that they were a really well-coached team. Because, like, that was one thing that we always talked about was their work together as a team. Even if they didn't have the top skill guys, they still had that excellent teamwork.
Yeah, and they got the one skill guy they needed in Fissure, and you're seeing what they're doing.
Exactly.
Because they're Bishu Bishu's decent. He needs the guys around him, though.
Yes.
He's one of those guys that he kind of plays up to the other guys' level. I think Fissure is helping him out so much because he looks so much better since they got in Fissure. And I don't want to say a lot of it's Fissure's play. I think it's
his mentality.
Yeah, and Fissure teaching him.
Yes.
And Fissure's a beast on social media, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
On top of it.
Yeah, check out Fissure's
Fissure's so awesome.
He is hilarious. His even though he only speaks Korean on his stream, the little bit that we've seen of people from people translating him when he ripped into boosters was like one of my favorite things I've ever seen.
But he's just a good dude. And
he's awesome. I like Fissure a lot.
And I think that helped him out a lot. I mean, and Remix played this week and he looked good. And I think Fissure's helping him too. I mean, he's still a really, really top-level player, but Fissure definitely has a chance to be a good coach.
Yeah.
Like, down the line.
Yeah,
he's got a long time to play.
Yeah.
But
down the line, like, when he's done playing professionally, I would be shocked if he doesn't move into a coaching role.
Yeah. And, it's also good to have someone like him on the field has that mentality and knows what's going on. And him and Surefour, too. Surefour is another one that...
honestly, of anybody that's stepped up for that team more than anything, is Surefour. That guy...
Fucking Widow monster.
Wow.
Jesus.
He was ripping people apart.
You thought guys like Fleta and Carpe were good. The fucking Widow play is getting... It's just like escalating.
It really is.
You got Saya player, Carpe, Surefour, Soon, all these guys.
Those elusive Pine sightings.
Oh, yeah. So, alright guys, that's going to be it. Don't forget to hit a like, subscribe, join up our High Noon. Remember, we get up to 200 subscribers. We will get a prize for that Stage 4, whoever wins Stage 4. And don't forget to join us on Twitter, Twitch, getting deep in it. Alright guys, we will see you later.
See you guys.